Okay, this is problem 7 from chapter 27. And actually, when I was doing chapter 5, I hadn't even looked at chapter 7 yet. So when I finished with with problem 5, I started to do a confidence interval. So it turns out that's what this problem 7 is asking us to do, is go back to looking at this data on marriage age and just doing a confidence interval. So if I could put this in context, what we did was we put a line through based on this data, and then we did a hypotheses test and said that there's significant evidence that the difference in ages between men and women that are their ages getting married at first marriage, the difference is decreasing. Okay, so but the question is, if we sampled again, like if we went back in time and sampled again, we might get a line like this, or we might get a line like this. There's going to be some play, so to speak, because we're random sampling. There is some variability, even though we know that there's the relationship now is something systematic. So if you were building a model, somebody might want to know, well, how much does the slope change? So anyway, a confidence interval is an estimate plus or minus a margin of error. Well, again, this is very similar to X bar, right? When we're working with means, that's basically what we're doing. So this would be our slope plus or minus T star at the degrees of freedom times the standard error of the slope. Well, the good news, especially if we have a computer printout, is we've got the slope negative negative 0.024 plus or minus, I'll come back to that, this value, and then we have the standard error of the slope right here, 0.0055. Okay, so then to find the t value, they asked for a 95% confidence interval. 95%, so that means this would be 0.025 and this would be 0.025. We actually want this value, but we know that it's symmetric. So we're going to say, so you could look this up too. We're going to say this is the degrees of freedom, by the way, is right here, 22. So I guess I could say T star of 22. Mathematicians love to do this writing. 22 equals inverse T of 0.025 and at 22 degrees of freedom. And I'll take the absolute value of that because I really want this number. This number is going to be negative here. So I'm finding this value and taking the absolute value of it, which is equivalent to this. Okay, so when I do that on my calculator, I get a negative, which I'll make positive, 2.074. I round. Okay, and so I guess you could just do the math. This what I get is I get a negative 0.035 to a negative 0.013, which I'm not really. I think I should really state them the other way. Okay. It kind of depends, because we're decreasing. This is because we're talking about a downward trend. We can state it this way, I guess. So anyway, we are 95% confident that the mean or average, the mean difference in age between men and women at first marriage decreases by between 0.013 and 0.035 years in age for each year that passes. Something to that effect. You might find a more concise way of writing it, but it seems like to get all the context in, that's what you have to do. Okay, so confidence intervals are rather straightforward. The big thing is understanding what you're doing. Okay, you're providing a range for a slope. Okay, good luck.